A very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the world premiere of A Queen's Runway. My name is Max Tosa and I'm very, very happy to be your host for today. There could have been a better venue or setting to announce our A Queen's Runway than here at the Beauty Queen store. So welcome here and thank you very much for being part of this event. Please give yourselves a warm round of applause. And to kick off the day, we will begin with the press conference. So this is our chance to hear from the brilliant minds behind A Queen's Runway, know about their inspirations, the challenges they faced, and of course the impact that they hope this documentary will have on us. But before we do that, allow me to introduce first the incredible creators of A Queen's Runway. Let us begin with the COO and co-founder of Movart, executive producer and director, Tom Sis. A warm round of applause, please. We also have the CEO, founder, executive producer, and director, Eric Sobracasa. And last but definitely not the least, we have the executive vice president of the Miss Universe Philippines, Voltaire Taya. And I would like also to ask everyone to please give yourselves a warm round of applause as early as now. Thank you very much to all the members of our media press. Thank you very much once again for being here this afternoon. At this point, before we proceed to the official press conference, I would like to request everyone to please turn your attention to the screen for a very special presentation.
Filipinos have had this lifelong love affair with Miss Universe.
It's like the Olympic of beauty. Miss Universe Philippines is not just a 3-month journey or a 6-month journey. It's a journey of a lifetime.
The competition has been grueling. We're talking about months of lack of sleep.
So you're gonna have really demanding schedules.
Like sponsored shoots, training, challenges.
Some people don't have the capacity to take it 3 months in a row.
Everyone is competitive.
I put everything on the line. All my eggs are in one basket.
That's the reality of pageants.
Ask yourself, is this really what I want to be doing?
I had to realize, okay, this is probably not for me.
Everybody on the internet is going to be watching anything on
You're not going to be everyone's cup of tea.
I don't care about the haters that much. When you go into it, you just have to go in there all in. Or sister.
You practice day in and day out. You know what to do. Stick to the plan. Lord, please give it to me. Give me that crown. Keeps me.
Our Miss Universe Philippines 2024 is...
Okay, I'm very sure that we are all excited for that documentary, aren't you? Are you all? Are you all excited?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's all together witness that tonight at 8 p.m. for the official screening. So, at this point, let's get started. So to all our members of the press, this is your opportunity to ask questions, gain insights, and should I say, dive deeper into the story behind the story. So if you'd like to ask a question, just raise your hands so we will be assisting you with the microphone. So let's start our press conference. Who do you want to go first? Yes, sir. Microphone. Yes, sir. Good afternoon. You are now recognized.
Hello. Hello, good afternoon. I'm Louis for OPNA Worldwide. Okay, first of all, congratulations to all the people behind Queen's Runway. Congratulations in advance. Okay, my question is for Mr. Eric. Okay, Mr. Eric, what are the challenges that you encountered during the filming of this documentary?
Hello.
All right. Thank you, Noni, and thank you everybody here today for being at the press conference. The challenges, many challenges that we faced from production, pre-production, but I think probably being a very small team, you have to do a lot of things yourself, and it makes it great because you take decisions and you don't have to wait so much. But obviously, yeah, there is also a lot of pressure on your shoulders when you start. And me and Tom were there doing a lot of things by ourselves and trying and making mistakes and learning from it and going along. The challenge was also like we didn't know that it was going to be. We had a very good idea about the schedule, but it was very interesting to see that every single day something happens during this year's Philippines for 3 months and a half. The schedule is real. Everybody is there every day, and someone's like seeing the documentary tonight. We were there at 1 a.m. in the morning, filming people at their houses, doing the makeup to prepare to be ready at 7 a.m. To do the shoot or to travel. And we would go, for example, to Boracay, and then there we would arrive and there's a new activity. So there isn't much sleep for us or for the delegates or anybody. So the schedule was definitely challenging to make sure everything would fit, also on our story and preparation-wise and all that. But, and purely from the filmmaking perspective, I think the post-production is a big challenge because that's where you really start putting the pieces together compared to a feature film where you have a script. We have kind of an idea of the story arc, but we don't really know what people will say because it's not a scripted story, right? So it's only after when you have all the footage that you start putting all those pieces together and creating a story, and then the challenge is like, what are we going to leave out? Because you start like liking a lot of things, and you have a whole long story in many hours. So, that's a challenge.
Okay, just a follow-up question. You mentioned earlier during our brief conversation that this is the first documentary that you make about pageantry. So, what inspiration do you have in making this document then?
Right. It started in May 23, actually. Tom told me actually to watch Drive to Survive, which is a very famous Netflix documentary of Formula One. I've never been a Formula One fan so much actually my whole life, but I watched the documentary and I thought like, I'm going to buy tickets to watch the race. And I've never seen a race in my life, but I thought this was really intriguing. And I thought there is this thing in the Philippines that not a lot of people know about, especially in Europe or in the US. And we, in Europe or Western countries, kind of have a very different perception about pageants. People kind of look down on some of it, they don't know what's happening, and it's not even on TV. So, because people really don't know what it actually is, and especially then I thought I was telling a story about Miss Universe Philippines, the biggest in the world, where we can see actually what's actually behind it, could be inspiring to a lot of people, and the goal would be like even people that have no knowledge about pageants, if they watch the documentary, I hope they will be like me, buying a ticket to watch a race Formula One, and I hope they will watch Miss Universe Philippines this year, and buy a ticket to watch the final and be intrigued by the pageants.
Okay, good luck, congratulations, and we're looking forward to watch Queen's Runway.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sir Dolly. So, do we have now another question? Sir, your question, please.
Good evening, ladies. Hi, I'm Armin Medina from the Philippine Daily Inquirer. Yes, I have a question for Mr. Walter Taya. Did the Miss Universe Philippines organization lay down any parameters to Movart Studios on how they will present a documentary, like what they should and they should not show?
The only parameter was they should make me look thin the entire time. That's true. No, but seriously, adding to what Eric said, Jonas, I believe, was still in the US when he first brought up the idea. And he called me and he asked me, hey, so there's this group that's interested in doing a documentary about Miss Universe Philippines. And then I didn't know who they were. And my first reaction was, oh no. I'm not so sure because I fear that they might put pageantry or Miss Universe Philippines in a negative light because they're from a different country. And most of the documentaries that have, been shown negatively portray pageants. And that's something that, and I think all of you guys as well, we're very protective of it because we know how valuable and how beneficial pageants are to the Filipinos. And to women in general that it really is an amazing platform. But the great thing is, of course, in the end, it's like, you know what, maybe we should, it's okay. So I first met them in Boracay. And at first I was like, oh, are they a couple? No, I'm just kidding. No, but I first met them there, and in my mind I'm like, okay, like I was observing. But the great thing, instantly you could feel that they were good people. That I knew that Miss Universe Philippines, and more importantly, that the delegates were also in good hands. Because that was also my primary concern. Because I did not want the women to be exploited in any way or to be taken advantage of or to be portrayed negatively. Because all of them are there doing what they're supposed to be doing. But seeing how they interacted and seeing how the delegates also reacted to them, they actually became such a positive force and a positive presence. Never during the entire time did we tell them, don't do this, don't do that. For some reason, like there was just this trust that was already understood. They were quite respectful of whatever was going on. You would never see them, trying to be babida or, asking for whatever request from the team or from, let's say, from board. The only thing that they'll ask is like, can you give us a schedule? And what time do we need to be there? The rest of the time, like they'll just be there. And the unfortunate thing is we forget that they're there. And of course, they're filming. And later on, we got to know them. And even with the whole editing, they were very respectful, sending us, the rough draft, and this is this and this is that. But we didn't want to meddle into whatever their vision is. And for us in Miss Universe Philippines, we're actually quite grateful to them that they had that vision. And you have to remember, guys, they were the ones who really took that risk and invested their time, their effort, and their own money to come here, not knowing anybody, and they just did what they were supposed to do, and without any guarantee of what was going to happen. And for that, we're so thankful, and I think Miss Universe, unless later on there's a different ending, but that's something that we're so grateful, because with so many people in the Philippines, somebody could have done this. You would imagine that by now there would have been a Filipino filmmaker who would have documented one of the pageants in the Philippines. Yes. And then, but this is I would dare to say that this is probably going to be the biggest one because it's going to be streamed on Netflix. Globally. And for that, we're very thankful to them because it really brings that awareness so much, to a much greater audience beyond the pageant fans. And yun nga, we're so thrilled that it took foreigners, right, to take that chance to document something that the Filipinos love so dearly. And this is going to be amazing, and I'm hoping.
Very well said, candidate number one. And if I may, you already answered my second question, but can I also ask another question? Sure. For Tom and Eric, the pageant is a transformational journey for the candidates, but has it also been a transformational journey for you making the documentary? Let's start with candidate number one, Tom.
Mr. Belgium.
Thank you. Miss Universe Philippines Belgium 2025. It's not announced yet, but yeah, of course, it impacts As Voltaire already said, like we came here really with no guarantee and trusting a vision and trusting an idea and believing in that. And of course, once you start to see what this pageant industry is really about, because I didn't know anything about it until I really got here. I had a vague idea, I did my research, but there's nothing that can show you better what this industry is about than just being here with them every single step of the way, right? So seeing them having to battle day in, day out, this rigorous schedule that they have for months on end, and being there as a fly on the wall for all of that, it's going to impact you because it's going to put it in a perspective that I didn't have before. And I've created so much respect, I would say, for this industry, especially in Miss Universe Philippines. And I think, yeah, that has impacted me a lot, I would say. It definitely has changed me for believing in this industry and maybe, proceeding to make more stuff about it. And so much respect that goes out to all the developers because I was very surprised with everything that I've seen filming this throughout the process. I'm sure Larry has added to that as well.
Thank you, candidate number 1. Candidate number 2.
Yeah, for me, it was one of the best experiences I've had in my whole life, I think. I do know so much what to expect because I've never been for so long in the Philippines, or I never followed Miss Universe Philippines so closely. And I arrived here and immediately, it was, like what I was saying, we had a good impact on the delegates, but the delegates and the whole Empire PH and Miss Universe Philippines had an amazing impact on us as well because they just welcomed us from day one with open arms, and that was really, really nice. On a human level, it was an amazing experience. I made friends, I guess, here for a lifetime. I met so many amazing people from Empire PH, Miss Universe Philippines, all the delegates, production, extra people that we've met, that we work with for additional interviews. The warmth from the Philippines and the warm welcome that we had here and the way we work with everybody was an amazing experience for me, and that's what I learned. 2 years ago, we started our company, so we're still very, very new. And it's not that easy to start a production company, but if you want to grow fast and make it there before you go out of business in this industry, we felt that we had to take big risks. And it's very difficult in the USA, of course, to have a very big production this size and get on a big network because you compete with so many production companies and studios that have been there obviously for many, many years and have budgets that are 1,000,000 times bigger than what we had. But we saw this opportunity to work with the Philippines and Empire PH and Miss Universe Philippines on a project that we really believed in could have this impact on a big streaming network and worldwide. So they gave us an opportunity, so we're very, very thankful for that.
Something that Eric said and that Volta already had mentioned kind of sparked something in me. That the word trust, I feel, was something that I maybe took for granted before starting this journey. Something that, especially where we live and where we are active, places like Los Angeles, where it's really hard to find trust in people. And the trust that the organization gave us, the trust that the delegates have given us, all the stuff that you mentioned before, is something that has really transformed me, I think, as a person as well. We both felt that, wow, this trust is really coming to us just like that. They're just going to give us a shot, really? Because in the US, that we don't really happen like that. People aren't always going to give you their trust in a city like Los Angeles because people take advantage of you. That's just the way it is. And I've never been to the Philippines, but it was very early on clear to me that people are giving you trust, and I don't have to worry about that. And it's something that I will carry with me for the rest of my life, truly, for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you very much to our first two candidates. Thank you so much, and thank you, Sir Arvin, for your question. Another question.
Let me answer a question that I know a lot of you are thinking. Thomas taken, Eric is single.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, another question from our counterpart. Yes, sir.
Hi, good afternoon. Congratulations from the ground, Philippines, Eric, and for the Miss Universe organization. Philippines organization. So my first question is for Tom and for Eric. I know we're gonna see the film later tonight, but just to add to the excitement, any highlight or any part of the documentary that was your you consider to be your most favorite, your top favorite?
I'll go first. What do you think?
There's so many.
There's so many. That's a great
But
question.
stage
But
stands for the question.
I'm gonna go with what I immediately thought of when you asked the question. To Palawan, where 20 delegates were selected to come on. That was aside. Yeah, Jeweler organized that trip, and they did such a fantastic job planning out those 2 days. And it was aside from being a highlight to film there, just being there on that island, on Flower Island, seeing how the pros were made first, and then seeing the bonding. That's what really I want to stress on this. The bonding between the delegates in that moment was something I've never seen before, and being part of that, just being from the outside watching that was just so beautiful. I'm not going to spoil what's going to happen in the film, of course, but you will be able to see some of these really private moments between delegates on a private island. It can't get more exclusive than that, really, if you think about it. And being able to be there and experience that with them was something that nobody's ever going to take that away from us, from being there, experiencing that. And I will, again, we'll take that with me forever, because it was something I'll never forget. And you'll see why when you see the documentary. Voltaire has some great moments in there too. You thought of any?
Yes. For me, it was Sultan Kudrat. That was for me real documentary filmmaking, and what I thought about what it would be with making a documentary in a place far away. Because we went to a place that not even a lot of Filipinos have been. At the beginning I thought me and Tom are going to be probably the only ones that never been to Sultan Kudarat, and then we were talking to a lot of people from the delegates and organization, and a lot of people said that we've actually never been there. So that made it even more special because it was a new experience for everybody. And then seeing all the people that have never been there from the Philippines experience it like us for the first time, that was really amazing. And there we had the fashion show, the Runway challenge, and the national costume. And we had filmed some of the girls, and you see it in the documentary previously, their national costumes with their designers, and then we saw it coming to life. So we were really there from the beginning to the fitting and see how that all comes to life with working with these designers and how the relationship is and how they actually create these costumes. And then in Sultan Kudarat we saw it for the first time on the big stage. So that was a cool experience.
To add to this, funny cuento regarding Sultan Kudarat. It was only after we came back from Sultan Kudarat, like Jonas and I, and then with Borge, we just realized, oh my God, we have two white guys that were with us in Sultan Kudarat, and we completely forgot. But because they were, but they were so cool, and there were even times that they would go the tricycle they would shuttle between the two hotels of the delegates, or where we were staying and where the girls were staying. And they would travel by themselves, unaccompanied by escorts, by police or whatever. But that's also testament to the fact that it was in fact safe in Sultan Kudarat. But in retrospect, we're like, oh my gosh, we just, you know what? We let them wander all by themselves over there. But that's also like how humble they were, because they never asked for any special treatment or special VIP treatment or whatever. So I think that's another reason why it was really easy to get along with them.
Sir, for the Miss Universe Philippines organization, because you also have your own creative team, so we're just curious to know how did you guys align with their vision, and how much input did you have on
their vision is entirely theirs. The only thing that Jonas, Miss Universe Philippines Empire, just said, like, you can come in, you can follow us, and like Borge was like, they were coordinating with him to see where you can go. That was really our participation in terms of creative vision of what the outcome is. That's really theirs, because that's not something that we feel like we should meddle with, because it's their vision and we respect their creativity. Our digital team was busy enough doing all of the deliverables for the brands, for the sponsors, for the provinces. So we had our own thing going on. And so I'm just as excited as all of you to watch this. They sent it to me like a month ago or something to look at it. But then I also want to be surprised. I looked at a little bit of it. Gusto ko makita yung airtime ko nila. I wanted to see it just a little bit, but then after like 10 minutes, I'm like, no, I want to see this along with all the other girls. And you know, somebody who's also quite excited for tonight is Chelsea. And she was talking about it also. And you know, all the other delegates, I was messaging with them because some of them unfortunately are out of the country. That's why they couldn't be here tonight, but they seriously wanted to support, you know, Eric and Tom because they knew that they really dedicated that time to them. And they don't take that for granted, and they really appreciated their presence and what they did.
Thank you. So can we have another question? Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Ronald Lim from GME. I just wanted to ask, since you spent so much time with the delegates, do you have your own personal bets going into the pageant? Or and do you have your own delegates? Were there delegates that were like, I hope she wins?
Well, we had to make a story. That's where it started, and we had to decide in the beginning who we would follow. So we were looking at all the videos that they made, the 60-second videos that they made all the way in the beginning before the press conference where they introduced themselves, right? Her Story, that was the name of like the movie, if I'm not mistaken, it's still the same name. It's even Her Story, right?
Yeah.
So those videos, we were looking at all of them to know who they are and starting kind of like seeing like, okay, who has stories that we could implement, because it's very hard. We really want to tell everybody's story, but there are 53, and that's going to be a very long movie. So we had to decide which one kind of like could, resonate to an international audience, but still also be locally interesting, and make a selection. Basically, that's where we started basically making our, I wouldn't say favorites to be honest. We really didn't know, at least myself, I didn't know enough to say like, okay, she's gonna win. It was the first time seeing it this year, so from the first day to the last. But we had like getting to know them more and seeing like the delegates working on the shoots and so on. We kind of started to know like, okay, this could be like a top 10 and a top 5, and started deciding like who could make it all the way to the top 5 and trying to make sure we have those, because that's another risk you take as well when you do this type of documentary where it's a competition. We did a good prediction in actually achieving a good top 5.
They want leads.
I'm sure they do.
Well, it wasn't as much about, to like clarify some of that, it wasn't as much about figuring out who was going to get far, because that's only a small part of what we were interested in showing. Like, obviously, it was in the back of our mind, we should make sure that we have some coverage of the person who's going to win. But that was only if you say there's 6 people that you want to feature. We're more looking at like, okay, what 6 stories would make a nice blend? What 6 ingredients would work well together? And one of these ingredients, yes, is going to be somebody that hopefully takes a crown. Who that was going to be, we didn't know. Of course, you got to, spread your bet a little bit, and hope that we did have some coverage, and thankfully we did. Because Chelsea's such a nice girl, and she was so nice to us, and it was so fun to be around with that. We gravitate towards that as filmmakers. We are like, wow, she has a cool story, and then she ends up winning, so the equation worked for us, and that blend was completed for us.
And one thing about what they were saying about like us, documenting the lives of the delegates, and like Tom was saying, getting to know them. Obviously, the first thing we have to do is introduce ourselves and say like, hey, we're gonna be this weird white guys suddenly coming here filming, and telling them what the goal is. But I also told them the first day when I saw everybody, that if they don't want to, just say we're not there to make a reality show. We just want to have the real story. So if they didn't want to be part of the story, if they'd rather focus on the competition and say like, this is not for me. We never asked like, yeah, but maybe can we do this or that. That was up to them, and yeah, it was a very natural relationship that we started building with everybody in there. And the people didn't want to, that's totally fine.
And that's actually a point that I want to emphasize is this isn't a reality show. It's really a documentary of behind the scenes. And to clarify, I know that maybe because of your question, I'm glad you asked that question because now I can clarify that all the women that you will see in the documentary who are featured, Miss Universe Philippines had no say in who was going to be there. They chose the women all on their own. Of course, in the beginning, I was being Lucy. I was like, so who are you interviewing? So I wanted to see like, who are they featuring and then are they going to get, and when I heard the name, I'm like, oh, they actually had like a good group of girls and I felt like, yeah, one of them or a few of them will definitely get to the end because it would be awful if all the girls that were covering wouldn't make it because it ends at the semifinals. So that was one of the things that was amazing is how, from an outsider's perspective, people who don't know pageants, who have no passion for pageants or eye for pageants, they were also able to pick out these women as you'll see tonight. And that was very interesting.
So, I don't know if you guys are allowed to say it, but is there a timeline for when it's going to appear on Netflix?
This year.
There are still a few things we have to finalize, but we are allowed to say it's going to be very shortly. So you will see some stuff coming up soon. Yeah, it's going to be globally. What I like to say is, for the global audience, is looking to the Philippines through the eyes of Miss Universe. That's kind of like what I've always had in my head, because a global audience will have also a good idea of the touch of on the culture and what it is like to be the Philippines. So yeah.
Lapit na.
Okay.
May bago na to not have that, be a big part of it. The culture is what is Miss Universe, what is culture in a way, and there was almost no way that the culture wasn't going to be the main character of this movie, which I think at the end of the day, it sort of became that. Filipino culture is, in fact, the main protagonist, I would say, of this whole experience. Not one girl or two girls. Yeah.
You still have follow-up questions? Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, I'm Annalyn. Yeah. Okay, my first question, Sana, is for Tom and Eric. Thanks for inviting us, by the way.
Of course, thank you for coming.
As you know, pageantry is not really much of a big thing in the US as it is in Asia. Do you agree with this?
Yes.
Okay.
Also in Europe. We're originally
yeah,
from
in
Europe.
Europe.
Both, I think, was very similar. And I saw, Batea was one of the candidates this year. Here, it was 3 months and a half, and then she went to compete in the United States. It was a weekend. This USA. So that's like the difference in magnitude between like the Philippines and how small it is in the United States, right?
Yes. And what are your insights after doing the documentary on why pageantry is a much bigger thing in Asia than in the US or Europe, and other realizations that you may share? You might have expounded on this earlier, but yeah, you can add.
It's more a question of like, why do you think it is more a bigger?
Yeah, your insights on why pageantry is a bigger thing here.
That's a great question. I think that the culture, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about for the U.S., and I'm not American, so sorry. I think it's more in the culture of the U.S. There, even though bashing and things like that is a thing out here, I think in the U.S. people are very much inclined to cancel and things like that, and they're very much inclined to give pageantry a certain connotation, I think. And that's, if you, what Voltaire said earlier, some of these documentaries that have been made and these expose kind of things, that's something that's very United, like America, very Western thing to do. Whereas I don't think in Asia it's more, people celebrate each other. And I think that's a key thing in pageantry, it's a celebration of beauty in a way, right? So because the people in this part of the world are more celebratory of each other and for beauty, and where beauty stands in the culture is so much different that I think pageantry is a natural, the celebration of pageantry is a natural cause of that. If that's what makes sense, that's trying to go really into it.
I can say something about Europe, I think. I was born in Italy. I grew up in Belgium. And in Italy, I do remember that it was quite big when I was a child. It was not like the Philippines, obviously, but Southern European countries, like South American countries, are more interested in pageant, like Venezuela, of course, Mexico, and then Italy, Spain, Portugal. They do appreciate that more than Northern European countries. And I do think it's very much has to do with the culture, because in Italy, being a model or an actor, an artist, is seen as a profession. In Belgium, it's not. They immediately say, get a real job. We have very little business and money in these industries. Like if you're an actor in Belgium, it's a very small business. Same for being a model. So the pageant industry is not really taken really serious. It's more kind of like a hobby, I would say. That's why it just takes 2 days or maybe just a day. And it's like, you start in the morning, you're done in the evening, and it's not really serious. While in the Philippines, it seemed like a real industry. It's a business. Like TV is here today and everywhere, and businesses want to invest and be part of it. It's a real industry, so it's taken more serious as a professional.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah, second question. Where do you go from here? Will you also be doing like documentaries like this in the future, considering that there's a lot of material involved? Like, will you be featuring Asia as a whole, or Thailand, or
Well, there's no concrete. Like, first of all, there's no concrete plans of doing that. But I'm sure there's definitely. It's like a conversation that we've had. We're definitely interested to explore and to talk with other countries, whether that's in Asia or that's in Southern America, Latin America. As long as I think it's important that the cultural aspect stays that protagonist, and it's something that we would definitely take into consideration when making a decision, whether we're making this again or not, or where that's going to be. But of course, on the table, right? It's not a no, it's not a yes. We're going to see where this is going to go from here, and we're going to look at those cultures and see what's.
Yeah, we start with the story first. That's what we need to find, a real story that is intriguing. That's where we start all our projects, and then we dive deep into that and we see how is the story going to develop and how can we make it. But the story is the most important thing for everybody. Whether you want to stream this on a network, or you want to have it on TV, or you want to have it on a YouTube channel, the story is what people are going to look for and going to watch. So that's the first part. Like, if you would choose another pageant, which pageant has the best story to tell?
Okay, last note, sorry, I don't want. I was just wondering, because before coming here, I had a hazy idea about what a Queen's Runway is, and I thought it's about Miss Victoria Vincent. I'm sorry, but why the picture? It's all about anything. I didn't have a background material, sorry, but why?
Well,
Particular candidate.
I hope not to be misleading too much. It's not the Victoria Velasquez show, unfortunately. No, she's really awesome, great. But the idea here with this poster specifically, which is not the final poster yet, but with this image, trying to convey as much as we can about the story, not about the person. It's not really about who that is. If that was somebody else in the pageant, in the same pose, in the same frame, it would have been that person. But here we're looking over the shoulder of somebody else in the pageant, and this one as well. This puts the perspective of how this documentary is filmed, rather than really only one image. We are backstage, looking from not even her point of view, but from behind that. You know what I mean? So we're not featuring just this. We're not just interested in showing the show and glitz and glamour. No, we're looking from her lens, but even outside of that, right? So that shows you where the angle is of this documentary. The perspective, that's the right word, yes. Do you want to add anything to that?
No, yeah, I totally agree. It's definitely, I think there's a difference between this documentary and maybe other behind the scenes or stories that we told before, is that we really wanted to focus again on the story. And it's not about one person. It's not about like, it's not even about the winner or so of this year's Philippines. It's about the whole competition. And being somebody who is interested in being a candidate should have an idea about what it is to be going through this journey. Somebody who's never seen it should have an idea about like, oh, this is really, really hard. It's like being an athlete. Somebody from outside the Philippines should have the view on like how the Philippines is as a culture and what is pageantry in the Philippines. So like I was saying, these are just representation of storylines in the documentary in these. It's not about like here you don't even know who this is, well it's Tara, but even somebody who doesn't know, right? Wouldn't know who that is because we're just
Anybody know who's
looking. Who's this?
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So for the interest of time, we only have two more persons. One more question to ask. One more person to ask questions.
It's not a question, but will you please invite the pageant fans and the non-pageant fans as well to like watch this? So my question. Like watch it or just invite them. Invitation.
To watch
Get
it.
a message to the pageant fans.
Oh, okay. I was thinking to invite them to watch the screening because we would love to, but we only have 290 seats, so we can't put them. And I know there were 7 million watching this year, so that's gonna be tough. A message to maybe the watching series, our documentary. I think it's for fans that will have a view of Miss Universe Philippines that they never had before. It will be the first time that fans will be at candidates' homes with their families, seeing their connection with designers like Valda Guba or Martin Gardner, big designers in the Philippines. How do they actually work with these candidates when they're making a gown? How do they prepare? Those are things that have never been featured before. So I think it's going to be very interesting for fans to see how that all comes to life. And that makes it interesting for non-pageant fans who will see this for the first time. They will actually see what's going on.
Thank you. It's for everyone. No matter, like, give it a try. I feel like that's a motto that we should have. Watching this, of course, the pageant fans will, but even if you have friends that are not pageant fans, tell them, give it a try. Give it a watch. I think you're gonna like it. There's gonna be something in there for everyone. As Eric said, there's so many angles, there's so many different things that we've covered that have never been seen before. That even if you're not a pageant fan, I'm sure my parents, they're not pageant fans, and they're in Belgium. You know, you can already guess. But they're like, oh, I wouldn't keep watching this because I like this thing. And then my mom was like, oh, but I like this thing. And you guys are gonna like different things. So there's something in there for everyone. So just give it a try.
Thank you very much. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, our press conference for the 8 weeks runway. So, any final words? So, okay.
I'm hoping that all the pageant fans definitely will be the first people who will want to watch this. Queen's Runway is really a very fresh, innovative perspective and seeing the behind the scenes of what the Miss Universe Philippines is about, but also what the Philippines is about. But seeing it through and how these guys saw it. And it would be such an amazing thing to experience that from a non-pageant person. But the great thing is, they fell in love with it, they fell in love with the girls, they fell in love with the Filipinos. And the testament to that is their product, and let's all celebrate it, and let's all support this, and I hope all of you will watch it the moment that it's streamed on Netflix.
Maraming salamat, Pilipinas.
And guys, they're also quite Filipino by now because the other day, my place they cut off na rin sila.
Okay, everyone, we would like to say thank you to all our members of the media press for your thoughtful questions, and thank you very much to our creators for your heartfelt answers. Another warm round of applause for the creators of A Queen's Runway, and we are really excited to watch the screening tonight at 8 p.m. So at this point, we're going to use this opportunity for our photo session when the creators or the minds behind A Queen's Runway. So once again, on behalf of all the people behind the A Queen's Runway, we would like to say thank you to everyone for gracing the event, for being here with us today. Maraming salamat po. Isa pong kaabang-abang ito sa ating mga Pilipino. Everyone, can you give another warm round of applause? You're holding your cameras, I'm sorry. But to the rest who are not holding cameras, palakpakan po natin. The creators of A Queen's Runway. Thank you very much. And again, we are very excited to watch this later. So at this point, ladies and gentlemen, if you would need to set up the red carpet, we invite you to do so between 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. The red carpet event will start at 5 p.m. And of course, the screening will be at 8 p.m. tonight. And of course, this is really a day jam-pack of events. So in between, we are also having the Miss Universe Pasig fashion show at the atrium, so we are inviting everyone to witness that moment. And at this point, I would like to pass on now the microphone and the word to my fellow hosts, Jasper and Gianna, for the official opening of the Beauty Queen store. Jasper and Gianna, let's give them a warm round of applause, everyone, for the official opening of the Beauty Queen store. And to all our media friends, I'll see you again tonight for the screening. Thank you very much, everyone.